Once you're at center, what you do is, it's called Sushumna breathing. And I know we've talked about this. Essentially, you're putting your attention on your spine from the crown of your head, sometimes from the forehead here, all the way down your spine to the tailbone. So you're just feeling that area within your body. And as you breathe in, you're imagining that you're pulling a pulling current up your spine. So you breathe in, and the current comes up. Up and around, and you hold it for an instant. You exhale. And you let it flow down just like water. So you're not forcing it back down. You're pulling the current up, cool current all the way up and around. You hold it for an instant. You exhale. You let that current flow down as if, like if you're taking a shower and water's running down your back. That's how you imagine it. Warm, relaxing current running down your back. So you would start doing alternate nostril breathing. Do that 12 to 24 times. What that means is you have your hand here. If you have a mala bead, you can count out 12 and then go through it. Or you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 little sections on your finger. So with one hand, you're plugging up your nose and breathing through the other. You go through one round, then 2, then 3, all the way to 12. If you're comfortable with that, you stop, and then you would practice this Sushumna breathing. If not, you keep going to 24. 12 or 24 is what's good.
Would you check to see if you're...
You can check if you want.
At the time to kind of, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, do it 12 times. See where you're at. Okay. If you're still more on one side than the other, then do it another 12 times and see where you're at. If you're not there yet, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and go into the middle channel. That'll help pull it in a little further. Now, this is important, especially for yoga practice, because all the problems you have in life are stored in your spine. Okay. All the mental agitation you have, all the hitches you meet in life, all the unconscious urges, the desires from this and past lives, it's all stored within your spine. Remember, we have these chakras along the spinal pathway. All your memories, everything you've ever experienced is within your spine. So, if you experience something that bothers you, that you're fighting, that you're trying to push away, a bad memory, you just don't want to deal with it, it's in your spine. Okay? If you can look at something, the past or the present or the future, whatever it might be, and you're fine with it, you're neutral, it's just a memory. It's not stored as a trigger within your spine. So that means when the problem comes up, you're not going to act in an unconscious, probably not helpful way. Okay? Now, when you practice the Sushumna breathing and you're pulling the current up the spine and letting it flow back down, you are clearing away all those triggers and all of those traumas. All right? And what that means is when you go back into life, your buttons aren't going to be there anymore. It takes some time, but the more you practice this, those buttons that really drive you crazy will go away because you're clearing them out through this energetic process. And this is the basis for Kriya Yoga. Kriya Pranayama is taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. The Sushumna breathing is a preliminary basic practice. When you're initiating the Kriya Yoga, you learn advanced Kriya Pranayama, which really, according to Swami Sri Yukteswar, one repetition of this Kriya Pranayama, pulling up the spine, equates to 1 year of living. Okay? And it said, I might have mentioned this before, it said that if a person could live a natural life, good food, no stress, just hanging out, for 1 million years, they would naturally wake up. These things would naturally be cleared. Okay? But since that's not our situation most of the time, by practicing this pranayama technique, even just this basic pranayama technique, you're clearing away weeks, days, months at a time. And then in one lifetime, you can condense that 1 million years into one lifetime. So you can wake up in one lifetime. All right. Sounds crazy, I know. But it's been a good experience so far, and I can see how it's the case. Okay? So you just have to commit to doing this. It's just like eating your vegetables and taking your vitamins. All right? And the reason I say that, I mentioned this last night at the party I was at. I was reading about carrots and vitamin A. And people who smoke, if they eat a lot of vitamin A, if they eat a lot of carrots, beta-carotene, vegetables with vitamin A and beta-carotene in it, that it actually reverses the process of cancer and emphysema in the lungs. It reduces the inflammation. It reduces the problems from smoking. All right. So that's why oftentimes a lot of people can drink all they want and smoke all they want and still live to be 90, 100 years old. Because more than likely, one thing, their attitude's probably good. Secondarily, they probably ate a good diet. And thirdly, they probably got out and at least exercised a little bit. Okay, so you can reverse these negative aspects, these negative charge in your body by doing little things throughout the day, such as meditation, eating your vegetables. As Roy said one time to me, he said, if people would just eat their vegetables, exercise, love God, and meditate, the world would be a much better place. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your yoga practice is simply eating your vegetables, exercising, however you want to exercise, loving God or the divine in whatever way, and meditating. All right. And loving God, when we go back to the mind is purified by cultivating thoughts and feelings of friendship for others, compassion for those who are suffering, happiness for the well-being that others enjoy, and dispassion regarding what is observed. That is loving God. Okay? Because remember, there is nothing that is not God. So your neighbors are God. Your body is God. Everything you do, everything you have is God. So by appreciating that, you are loving God. And that's one way to change your mental attitude, which changes your internal states in your life. Okay? Now, 35. Subtle subjective perceptions contribute to mental stability. 36. Changes that contribute to mental stability also naturally occur because of the luminosity of the mind and awareness that prevails. Now, the natural state of the mind is clear, it's serene, and it's whole. It is simply a transmission point from this world reflecting it up to the soul, or your higher self. Okay? So, when you're fighting life, when there's lots of problems, you are essentially bogging down the mind. You are putting dust or dirt over that lens for God, your real self, to see into the world. All right? When you meditate, you have subtle perceptions, such as light. Sometimes when people practice, especially the pranayama, where you pull the current up and hold it there and let it flow back down, and you look off into the distance, sometimes people see light. Sometimes people see pleasant visions. Whatever it might be, if you give your attention to that and you let it absorb your attention, that pleasantness, you are taking your attention away from all these negative things within your experience. Okay? And you are strengthening that natural sattva, that's like the luminosity of the mind, the natural. In Ayurveda and yoga, they have what's called the gunas. These are tamas, which is the depressing, the inert, the thing that kind of brings you down, that makes you dull. All right? It's an energy that makes you dull, that pervades the universe. And then secondarily, there's rajas, which is the active element of life, the thing that stimulates you to do things. Okay? And then there's sattva, which is tranquility, which is peace. Now, if you are an inert, hard-to-motivate person, you're probably within a tamasic state. If you eat dead foods, things which just dull your awareness, that's a tamasic state. So for yoga practice, they can still practice yoga, but what they need to do is practice invigorating things, such as getting up and start moving, doing some very serious pranayama exercises to get their energies going, walking, exercising, taking stimulating herbs. All of these things are bringing in the rajasic aspect of their nature. Okay? Now, rajas to an extreme creates anger, frustration, because you're trying to always do things. Okay? So if you're not doing anything, you need to try to do things. So step one, get up, get out of bed, do something. All right. Once you're on the roll and you start doing things, and you're fairly healthy, fairly active, things are going fairly well, then what you do is you start to develop the sattvic aspect of your mind, which is simply letting things be as they are. You're not trying to achieve anything. You're not straining to make things happen. It's already happened. You've already got it in the works. You just let it go. All right. Lahiri Mahasaya, what he says is, once a yogi has mastered his meditation and is living a decent life, all that's left for him to do is to remain in tranquility. Okay? So if good things happen, that's fine. If bad things happen, that's fine. Because what you're doing is you're moving beyond duality. All right? If you want to get rid of evil in the world, the only way you do that is by getting rid of good as well. Okay? Because they're two opposite sides of the coin. If you want to get rid of negativity and unpleasantness in your life, the only way you get rid of that is by also getting rid of pleasure and satisfaction and all these things. Okay? Because you can't have one without the other. All right? And that is why the purpose of this practice is to bring your attention within, so that you are neutral and you are tranquil, and no matter what happens, you are still yourself. Because the key is for you to be yourself all the time, no matter what.